turn the attention now to the Ragin Cajuns of Louisiana, and who better to talk anything Ragin Cajuns than the voice of the Ragin Cajuns, Jay Walker. How we doing, sir?
We're doing fine. It's good to see you guys, and Danny, looking forward to seeing you this weekend, and Colin, hopefully see you before too long too.
Oh, we'll get there. Don't worry.
All right, first and foremost, what are you going to feed Danny this weekend?
Actually, it's interesting because our good friend Craig Molosov has informed me he's cooking Friday night.
Oh no!
So you're going to get whatever is in the pot.
Is this good?
I don't know.
Yeah, how is Craig as a cook? I know he's a very good pourer, but I didn't know about a cook.
He now I've had some of his smoked wings. They've been very good, but other than that, I've never eaten anything that Craig has cooked. So he said I'll either cook or grill is what he said. So that's what Danny's eating Friday night, unless Danny chooses to eat something else.
Okay.
I got a feeling there's not going to be another choice.
Well, there's something else I got to see, which we'll take care of in one fell swoop.
Absolutely.
We'll take
true.
care of that, though.
And it's ready for you.
Take us into this Louisiana team, 9-8 overall, 4-3 in conference play, and obviously you guys having to play Georgia State inside the Cajun Dome before you get to see Georgia Southern. But what is this Louisiana team all about this year?
I think a little bit of inconsistency at the guard play. There are nights where they shoot it pretty well. There are nights that they don't. This team now, in the victory over Troy, they only turned it over 11 times. But this team has turned it over an inordinate amount of times this year. And that's been some of the issues that they've had. But when they can keep turnovers down, and if they can shoot a decent percentage from the field, you got a couple of guys inside who can be dominant, and Theo Akuba and Jordan Brown, and Duguay now coming off the bench. So that gives you three big guys who can play. I think what's happened since conference play started is this team has gone as Kobe Julian has gone. Julian had a very poor night against South Alabama. The Cajuns lost that game. But when Kobe's shooting it well and scoring the basketball, the Cajuns are a pretty good team and pretty tough to beat.
We just talked about this with Nick. 2 years ago was the last time that we saw you on court. It was that March game, March the 9th, Jared Benko's first day on campus. He had just got introduced officially as Georgia Southern's director of athletics. It was when the conference tournament was on campus sites before nobody did anything else with COVID kicking in.
I was watching that game at Pete's.
Yes, you were. You were down in Lafayette.
That was fantastic.
But talking with Nick about how there's no roster recognition from Warhawks to Eagles to Warhawks, I can look up and down the Cajun roster. Last time we would have seen you, Julian and Cadwell were still dealing with injuries. I remember a little bit of Duguay. He had a double-double that night at Hanner, 11 and 14. But outside of that, and maybe a little bit of Trajan Wesley, have not seen Akuba yet, have not seen Jordan Brown. He's got a lot of a pedigree for being a former five-star guy. But this is a team that Georgia Southern largely doesn't know much about.
Well, guess what? I looked at your roster and I see Elijah McCadden and a bunch of guys that I have no idea what they are. And it was even worse the other night with Troy when the Cajuns played Troy. I looked at their roster. I knew none of them. They played 13 guys in the game with dark uniforms with red numerals that you couldn't see. Oh no, it was just such an enjoyable time. But that's what it is now, East versus West. Outside of Appalachian State, and you know a lot of those names on that roster. Outside of them, I look at the teams in the East, and of course Georgia State's got a lot of familiar names, but South Alabama's got basically a whole new roster. Georgia Southern's got a lot of new players. Troy's got a lot of new players. So, yeah, everybody do your homework because you're not going to recognize a lot of folks.
All right, the red numbers on the black jerseys, not been able to see them. Are you calling the game from Cajun Field?
You could see them okay, but they were I ought to get to choose what uniforms teams wear because those are the South Alabama jerseys with the red on the blue. Neither one of those are easy.
Yeah.
That's not as bad as the South Alabama that had the white and then the white numbers barely outlined in red.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. Been there.
Why don't folks check with broadcasters before they put their orders in? Because over the years, and I'm sure it's true for you guys too, regardless of the sport, there have been some color combinations and stuff that you look at them and you say, why did you do that? just why?
I can remember the 2017 football game when we came down to Cajun Field. You guys wore the black uniforms with the red numbers. Could not see. If it would have been standing next to me, I couldn't have told you who was wearing what.
And that's why Mark Hudspeth is going to hell. It just no. I told him more than once. I said you hate me, don't you? You obviously hate me. And even Billy Napier's first year, they wore him because they ordered new black uniforms, and he didn't like the way they looked, so he went with the Hudspeth uniforms. And I said, you and I are not going to be friends if you do that again. So no, we've been guilty also.
So we kind of step back from basketball a little bit. This is the first time we've been able to talk to you in the last little bit, at least on air. But there's a lot of excitement around Louisiana athletics kind of as a whole. You've got Billy Napier moving on to Florida. You've got the new coach coming in, somebody that has been with Louisiana for the last couple of years. You've got the new construction project coming to Cajun Field in the next few years. Just a lot of really good excitement around Cajun athletics as a whole.
Yeah, of course, Billy had some special times here in Louisiana. I mean, that they've won at a clip that they've never even dreamed about winning before. And I think there was a lot of disappointment, when he left, but that's the way this business works. Mike Desormeaux is, as Danny will be very quick to point out, I'm an old guy now, and I've been doing this for a long time. But Mike Desormeaux, pound for pound, might be the toughest student athlete I've ever covered. And I'm very excited about him getting the opportunity to be the head coach of this football team. I think you guys will understand this. A coach comes in and you want to do a good job and all that other good stuff, okay? And you're paid to win. But when you're an alumnus, it's personal. And I asked Mike about it before the bowl game. He said, "Let me tell you something. It's 1,000% personal." So it's now you've got, in addition to wanting to go out and do your job and do it well, now you've got this inner thing which helps drive you as well. And I think that's a good thing when you can have somebody who went to school at your place and be the head coach. And because look, he's been around this campus now for 17 years, and he's pretty excited. We're excited to have him. Hopefully one of these days that football construction project will get underway. There's a lot of rumor that it's going to start this summer, which means we may all be displaced next year, but we'll figure it out. And then, you've got, softball again is going to be really good. I think that Matt Deggs is going to have the most athletic team that the Cajuns have had probably since 2014. I'm still not sure about the pitching staff, but he's got a very athletic team out there. So yeah, there are a lot of things to be excited about here. The real excitement comes when the football project is done and Deggs starts getting teams to the NCAA regionals and Desormeaux continues the success of the football program. Then things will get really exciting. But right now the excitement is kind of like anticipation. It's, the ketchup bottle, Carly Simon singing, all that good stuff.
I knew he was going to get something with music in there at some point. Him and I have had some musical texts over the last couple of days just because a song either I've heard that I didn't realize the meaning of, or, with Meatloaf's passing just a couple of days ago, I didn't realize. I remember watching the game because he sung the national anthem before the '94 All-Star game in Pittsburgh, and I had either completely forgot about that or I never saw it. But the first time I'd heard it is one of the best I'd ever heard.
Yeah, you're a big music guy. I don't think a lot of people know that.
I spent 20 years in music radio. Even before that, when I was a kid, listening to the radio was about everything that I was all about. Now I've tried to stay up with contemporary music over the last 20 years. I probably don't know the 2000s better than I know stuff before 2000. But yeah, I mean, look, I love music and I loved, music radio while I was in it. And, you'll never ride in my car without something playing. And it just, but I do. I'm a music junkie.
Pop an 8-track in, we're in good shape.
Nowadays, I'm all about, my favorite contemporary artists are probably Rob Thomas / Matchbox 20, Lady Gaga, and Imagine Dragons are probably my favorites.
You know, I think you might be the last person that I would peg as a Lady Gaga person.
I'll say this. This is a true story. The Super Bowl, where New England had the big comeback against the Falcons.
Yeah, thanks.
I actually watched that game in Statesboro. I got invited to this thing by a Georgia Southern fan, and it was being held in the downtown area. And we were all talking. I brought this guy a case of Ragin Cajun lager as a gift for inviting us to the party. When it was time for the halftime show, I walked away and I stood in front and I watched Gaga's performance, and it was like, don't anybody come talk to me, because this is the best part of the Super Bowl right here. I've been a Gaga fan for a long time.
Oh, the trivia.
See, we could talk to him and it goes so many different directions.
Oh, no doubt.
We had a plan about talking about Eagles and Cajuns basketball on Saturday. We can go so many different directions.
Yeah, you got anything else basketball to ask him?
How's the Cajun Dome doing? We haven't been there in a little while.
The Cajun Dome really hasn't changed. It's still a very big place, and there's still not enough people in it. And last year, of course, we had to broadcast from up at the top of the first level, and it was up pretty high.
Yeah.
But we're back courtside this year, and the Cajun Dome is the Cajun Dome. Concessions are still way overpriced, and sometimes we win and sometimes we don't. But yeah, you're not going to look around saying, "Oh, gee, this is new," because nothing is.
Jay, you're my favorite person we have on the podcast.
And look, I'm just, you're asking questions. I'm just answering.
No, and that's the best part of it. Nobody's ever going to wonder what you're thinking.
Oh, no. Well, if you don't want my opinion on stuff, you better not have me on.
I love it. There needs to be more people like you, Jay.
Oh, I've been saying that for years.
Jay, appreciate the time. Sad that I'm going to miss you this weekend, but Danny and you guys will have a fantastic time, I'm sure.
We will have an enjoyable time. It's going to be good. I hope that both of us are coming in off wins when we get to the court on Saturday, which means I hope that Georgia State forgets how to shoot the basketball for at least one more game.
Jay, appreciate the time.
Thanks, buddy.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Oh, he is a national treasure, and there's nothing that will ever make me say anything different.
Not just a treasure for Acadiana, but a treasure for all of us.
Oh, for sure. This is why I don't like basketball, because I don't get to see any of our friends most of the time, because they're all on the men's side. Now, next week, I'll get to see JT, and I'll get to see Barry next week. Isn't next week when South Alabama and Troy come in?
Yes.
So I'll get to see him because we're here for Saturday, Georgia State.
Double, okay.
Oh, let's go.
See, it's all coming back. It's all coming back. Bro.
Let's go.
The one thing I
was going to be really upset if you said no. There's going to be two teams without radio.
Well, I had to think about it because we aren't usually in this same place this much for basketball season, so this is a cool thing.
No, but I think you've seen more Louisiana women's basketball than you've seen Georgia Southern women's basketball. Because
we're down in Mobile. Yeah,
you had it down in Mobile. Yeah. You'll get a doubleheader this week. I think they're playing ULM.
Yes, Mike Hammond.
Mike
Hammond has already reached out.
How about it?
We're gonna talk about some baseball and go get
talk about Fed.
Talk about Fed. They got turf on baseball now. They
I know he sent me a picture of their new field for the scorebook when it gets done.
The thing that I wanted to talk about with JB, you can talk about a million different things with him because he's been around. I know I make the joke, but he really has been around. And he's seen a lot of different things. But we were at Media Day this year, and they had the championship belt for the Sun Belt. Didn't play the title game the year before between Louisiana and Coastal. So by the end of the day, we had Jay go over and Joe Cashin for Coastal go over and act like they were playing tug of war with the title belt. And then Coastal messes up, and they don't even go to the title this year. But Louisiana takes care of App, and Billy Napier goes to Florida.
Oh, man. I love it.